7-2. They'll still own the best record in the West, and they might get deeper. Rondo expected to make his season debut tonight. He's missed the first 9 games with a calf injury. Frank Vogel has another option off the bench. The Lakers taking on the most surprising team in the NBA, the Phoenix Suns. Game time at 6 here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. I'm Chris McGee. Big game, James Worthy. Big shot, Robert Ory. We got Brez out in Phoenix. Allie Clifton is here. And it has been a while since we have done a pregame show after a loss. The Lakers snapped their 7-game winning streak, losing by 9 to Toronto on Sunday night, following the longest winning stretch in almost a decade, Rob. The longest one in our network's history. LA allowed 35 fourth-quarter points to Toronto. They were outscored on the fast break 32-8. And bottom line, we figured it out in the postgame show. You just had to credit Toronto. They outplayed them. They wanted it more, and they were tougher down the stretch. Now, listen, you cannot win them all, but is there any major concern or anything that kind of popped out at you, Rob?
I thought the effort, when you watch the game like this, sometimes you look at a team and say, oh, you have your all-star point going out. You have your best rebounder out. And all of a sudden, oh, it's Toronto. They lost Kawhi. They lost Danny Green. And you didn't take them as an NBA team. You have to respect every team because Siakam is killing. He's making that team go. We know Van Vliet can shoot the ball. And they didn't respect him enough. This is the champions. They have a lot of respect for themselves. And when you don't respect teams, next thing they bite you in the butt, and that's what happens.
LeBron said it. This is a team with championship pedigree. Just because certain guys are out, there's still guys that won it all, big game, James. And I think they're taking offense to everyone kind of not even talking about them this year.
Well, I mean, these guys were decent before Kawhi, with the Toronto. It's not like Kawhi saved them. I mean, they supported what Kawhi was doing, and they all won a championship. But there's this saying about winning, while not playing that well, is very dangerous. And I think if you look at the last few games, the way the Lakers have had to come back and the way they've had to struggle in the fourth quarter to pull out big wins in overtime, and it's caught up to them. And so what happens is teams start to scout you. They start to look at what Toronto did, what the Clippers did, or what they did in some of those close games, what they pulled out that maybe they could have gone anyway. That's what's starting to, worry me a little bit. I know they're still very dangerous. And I think if you look at the last few games, the way the Lakers have had to come back and the way they've had to struggle in the fourth quarter to pull out big wins in overtime, and it's caught up to them. And so what happens is teams start to scout you. They start to look at what Toronto did, what the Clippers did, or what they did in some of those close games, what they pulled out that maybe they could have gone anyway. That's what's starting to, worry me a little bit. I know they're still working out their system, but it'll catch up to you. You gotta watch out for that.
You said this. Bulls, Charlotte, Memphis. Yep. You wanted to see the Lakers kind of put away a team, and when you flirt with it long enough, a team's going to come in and get you, and that's what happened. All right, let's get you live to Phoenix, where 2 of the best teams in the Western Conference square off. The Lakers and the Suns? We haven't said that since 2010, Mike. Feels weird.
That's true. Yeah, and welcome to the Valley of the Suns, guys. They are fired up here, as they always are, but this time their team is pretty good. So that's been the difference, right? The last couple of years, Phoenix always gets excited to see the purple and gold, and they play a little bit harder, but they haven't exactly had the personnel. So now a bit more of a formidable team here with Rubio and Aaron Baines and some other guys coming in and playing well. So what is Frank Vogel going to do? Well, he's going to get one guy back, and that's Rajon Rondo. We started by discussing that with him. How much do we expect in terms of minutes and role? And that's what the coach went with a couple moments ago.
Frank, if we could just start with the latest update for Rondo and Daniels and their status.
Rajon's going to play. They're actually both available on a 15-minute minutes restriction. I'll use Rondo with the second unit. And, I'm going to save Troy. Troy's going to be available if I need him. But we're going to use some of the other guys because the injury is so fresh. And, but if we need him, we'll go to him.
Big picture-wise with Rondo, what are the things that you've noticed watching the games, watching the film, in the areas that he can most immediately help?
Just offensive flow, just decision-making, obviously just the intelligence he brings to quarterbacking and offense. That's the number one thing.
What do you think about the last game, actually getting a loss in the game that you trailed, but that hadn't been the case? You had won the previous 7. Can that do anything to actually refocus a team, or should it be irrelevant?
Well, I hope so. The message in the film room the day after the loss is that failure is a necessary ingredient in growth. And, we've been getting away by not playing a great transition defense. And, we've been getting away with it, but this time it cost us. So it's time to really buckle down and improve that facet of our game. And, hopefully one of our identity pieces is that we're going to be a team that responds to losses. Plays a little bit with an extra edge tonight and bounce back and gets back in the win column.
Coach, this is a little off topic. I've been asking every coach about the challenge rule. What do you think of it?
Initially, I didn't really love it, but I think it's got a place in the game. Most of the challenges so far have not been overturned. So, it's growing on me. I think it's okay.
All right, guys, so you heard it there. Rondo, expect right around 15 minutes, and, we'll see how he looks defensively, but we know offensively he should help improve that flow, get guys in the right positions. Maybe it helps Kuzma with the shot selection. Maybe it helps Anthony Davis. So we'll see how that all works out tonight here in Phoenix.
All right, appreciate that, Mike. Good updates right there. I'll go to you guys, 15 minutes, whatever it is. What does Rondo bring to this team?
I think a lot of energy, a lot of creativity, because he's a smart player. He's a champion. He's won NBA champs. He knows how to get the ball to people when they can do the best with the ball. Sometimes you look at guys come down, they give the ball up too early, and the guy's like, oh, no, I'm not in rhythm to score, or I'm in a position where I got to give it back up. But Rondo gets the ball to him right on point. The guys can go up and shoot the ball or create for themselves. So he's an excellent facilitator.
Stability. He's going to bring stability, everything Rob said. He's a coach on the floor. We talked about it a little bit in Lake Show. You got LeBron, who's a scientist. He's been around, an elite player. AD, an elite player. Rondo's another one of those kind of thinkers on the floor. Played a little quarterback in high school. So you don't have to deal with the coach as much. He knows how to get guys off. He knows who needs a shot. He knows who's hot. And if you're open, you're going to get it. If you make a cut, he'll get it to you, whereas a lot of other guards might not be ready to make the pass. He's going to bring a lot of precision, I think, to the offense.
All right, Lakers and Suns are coming up at 6 o'clock here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Rondo makes his debut tonight, but as you heard, Troy Daniels is...
Big shot Robert Horry has come back to see us, and I've been told that we should celebrate because Mike Bresnahan is not in here. Big Shot, on the other hand, is struggling to celebrate right now because Alabama is not so hot.
Yeah, we're right there at 5. We'll be all right.
That was the pre-discussion. Do you want to start talking about the Lakers? We can leave that alone.
Yes, let's move on to the lovely Lakers.
This morning, Rajon Rondo was upgraded to probable for tonight's game in Phoenix. Rondo has yet to make his debut this season, missing the first 9 games with a calf strain. At shoot-around, Anthony Davis and Coach Frank Vogel talked about the effect of Rondo on the team. Take a listen.
Means a lot. Another ball handler, playmaker on the floor. He's very smart. He's like a coach on the floor, so he's been great helping us out from the bench. But obviously we brought him here because we think he had value to the team, and we love to have him back.
What was the time between you guys being teammates to now? Your communication like? Did you guys stay in touch, you and Rondo?
Oh, yeah, all the time. We were very cool off the floor. Actually, when I first got traded, he was one of the first. He was, congratulations, yada, yada. He didn't know he was coming back or not, so. But I said, I'm happy to have him here. We had a good thing in New Orleans. He's a great player. He was able to help me a lot, with my game and just build, our chemistry, kind of build my experience, from a leadership standpoint. Being around a lot of greats when he was in Boston, he kind of just carried that over, when he was with me in New Orleans, and just helped me in that aspect.
I always include, not always, but I'll frequently include him on decisions that we're trying to make, whether it's in game or in practice, like pregame shoot around or something like that. I hit him with a question on the bench last week, like, hey, we got to go back to AD. should we get Kuz out? Should we get Dwight out? And he was kind of like, well, that's a tough one, you know. Trying to put him in those spots, you know, the head coach and decision-making spots. But, you know, he's got a great IQ, great feel for the game, and really enhances our intelligence.
It's time for our Instagram question of the day. Where do you expect Rajon Rondo to make the biggest impact upon his return and why? Leave us a comment. We may show some of the best ones later on. Big game. Where do you think he can make the biggest impact?
Well, you know, when you think about AD and LeBron being elite players and how they impact the game and how they can make decisions, like LeBron's practically a coach on the floor. You don't need to really direct him. Rondo is one of those type of players, too. He's been around. He's won a championship. That's his specialty, is knowing how to exercise everybody on the floor, get things under control on both ends on the floor. He knows how to find people who are hot, make right decisions when people are open. So I think in the assist department, he's going to make the offense a little bit easier, a little bit more stable. And then defensively, you know, he's savvy enough to know how to, you know, create some havoc, whether it's individually or helping out, stunning, or with the team.
I'm going to have you take it one step further. Very well said, Big Game, because we just got word that he is now available and he will be running with the second unit per Frank Vogel. How big will that be?
I think it's be big for a guy by the name of Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma's going, you know, Kuzma's the type of guy who can get down the floor. He's not a guy who can really create off the rock, but if you come down and you get in a position where he can come off screens and then catch and go, that's going to help Kuz out a lot. And I also think in the sense of helping LeBron relieve some of that stress of bringing the ball up. I hate that it's going to take away from LeBron's assists, but I think it's going to help LeBron the fact that he doesn't always have to, you know, be at the free throw line, bring the ball up, so, you know, he can take a little pressure off. Even though I know he doesn't feel the pressure, but knowing that he can get off the ball, go down to the post, work that situation down the post, because every time LeBron lines up with someone, he's pretty much got a mismatch. So I think that's a good thing in the sense that he can get off the ball, get to the post, and get some easy buckets.
Of course, it's always good news. The Lakers are 8-2, but now they're officially healthy. Rondo's back. Of course, it's going to take some time to get in the flow, he and Kuz, but it's a good sign. The Suns are averaging almost 117 points a game. They scored 138 points on Sunday in a win against the Nets. Our Twitter poll question of the day, here you go. How many points will the Lakers hold the Suns to tonight? Can they keep it under 100, between 100 and 105, 106, 109, or more than 110? Big Game, what are you going with? They like to get up and down.
Phoenix is dropping a lot of threes, too, man. They're shooting a lot of threes. Rubio at the, you know, dropping dimes and scoring. You know, I think the Lakers, you know, I think it's going to be 110 plus.
And whether they're going to have to outscore them, maybe?
You're going to definitely have to outscore them, because if you look at the way Phoenix is playing, they've been playing without a care in the world. They go out and just, you know, jack it up, you know. And when a team has no fear and no care, they're the hardest team to stop, because they just come down and let it fly. And the way that Booker's shooting it, you know, I think he had, 60 points one night? You know, they're just incredible the way they're playing. It's like a summer league game or all-star game the way the team is playing.
Bang just stepping out.
That guy right there. Are you guys surprised with where the Suns are right now? You think of a vet like Aaron Baines, a guy like Ricky Rubio alongside of Devin Booker. Are you surprised with how well they're doing?
You know what? I'm a little surprised. I didn't think they'd, you know, be able to, what are they, 6-3 right now? I think they might be one of the most surprising teams in the league right now, considering they were